Greetings, dear suckers. My name's Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And I'm once again playing this shortly after waking up and feeling like shit, just to really get into Harrier's headspace. That's a good idea. Anyway, oh, hello.
A drop in temperature, an easy flow of air, an empty street. Before you, a thoroughfare unjammed with lorries. No more drivers smoking on hitch steps. Just silence.
What did the smoke smell like?
Chemically sweetened. Across the road, a forgotten bus stop. Corrosion has opened a hole in its roof. An elm tree watches over the building. Its branches are dripping with rain and snow. The road is smooth and motley. Craters filled with a black asphalt. The asphalt, first laid, is grey already. A row of tenements are under construction in the distance.
Who are the people who live across the road?
A tub warm with water, white with soap. A man bathes while radio waves transmit the lottery numbers. 4, 18, 21, 4, 1. A modern washing machine rattles a drawer full of silverware. His boyfriend is on his way home. He brings tins of meat and vegetables with him. Their pockets are heavier with money, but only slightly.
What about the bus stop?
Number 312D. Young girls used to come here, huddled up, hoping for more warmth than their thin coats give them. The bus took them to school. It has not run for 8 years. There were not enough girls to sustain its cost.
And what about the road?
Craters pocked the surface. Children played in them until heavy trucks full of black pitch rolled in. The landowners have filled the craters with money. It is a vital artery of the flow of trade. There's one bump on the road. A dead dog lies flat about 200 paces away, right at the turn.
A dead dog?
Tragedy comes from the wheels of a fast RCM vehicle, hurrying to work. The cold washes over you. The sound of the sea has grown distant.
That is enough.
The wind moves the aerosol. A detective stands behind the boom barrier. A breeze moves a curl of his hair.
2, actually. Okay. That's that then. Well, yeah, I've got one of these. Oh, when did visual calculus dip below 6? I think I'll grab another point in that. Yo. Wait, oh right. Anyway, now the key to this place.
The door has seen better days. The layer of paint has started to peel off due to the salt and wind from the sea. Even the lock looks slightly rusted.
I'll wait outside to give you some time and privacy to check out your new living arrangement and look for any signs of Ruby. But just so you know, after we are done with the day, I'll still be staying in the Whirling in Rags for the night. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
Understandable.
The key turns with a satisfying click. You can enter the shack now.
Okay. Here we go. Oh.
On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. A straight razor soaks inside the wash basin.
Time to shave. Get these mutton chops off. Am I going to cut my own throat if I fail this hand-eye coordination check? More importantly, is shaving the right call?
The water reflects back a vague image of your face. Nose bulbous and red, hair unkempt, wrinkles lining the eyes and forehead. The stash is gigantic.
It is, at that.
A fresh start looms ahead. Clean yourself up and be born anew.
Well, either way, I'm not going to try it now, because I've got pants for hand-eye coordination. Oh, hello. To avoid creak under your step. I'll bet they do. What is giving me negative to hand-eye coordination, anyway? Yes, our actual art degree. Well, I don't regret that. You see the waves, the sea, a church. Old science fiction magazines, books about birdwatching, an almanac from '39. This intricate heat engine hums quietly, giving out pleasant warmth.
A brisk coastal wind still howls against the window of the shack. Occasionally, the waves crawl in under the foundation, producing a low hum.
Listen.
The room feels muffled, like you pulled your hat over your ears. Outside, it is cold and windy, but you're inside, and it feels safe and warm.
Indeed.
What is this place to you?
My new hangout where I could silently sit, drink, and die while looking at the waves roll in. My forward base for the coastal part of the operation. It's free. That's good enough. I could live here. A possible resting spot for my fugitive is what it is. Looks like this is my new home. Wonder where the old one went. A possible resting spot for my fugitive is what it is.
Waves crash onto the beach, drowning the reeds. Far to the south, a congregation gathers to a soup kitchen in a shelter for the homeless. An old woman gives out knitted scarves for free.
I should check that out. I'm always on the lookout for more random bits of clothing, especially free ones.
Far to the southeast, two men and a woman dress themselves in ceramic armor. A shortwave radio hisses on the windowsill. One makes a salute, the other downs a drink. Weapons under the bed. A middle-aged man stands in a rundown shack on the edge of a fishing village. Nothing nods. No one salutes him. No sight of the fugitive.
This feels like a cozy hideout.
Who are you talking to? There is no one here. Not even Cole.
Thank you, strange sensation, for a fair assessment of the current situation. That seems to be all you're good for, Shivers.
Outside, the howl of the wind has picked up. The waves crash against the stilts again. It's as if you think the thought, but in someone else's voice.
Look under the floorboards.
Pardon? Okay then, I guess you are good for something after all, Shivers.
As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched.
Okay. Here we go.
Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below.
What's in here?
Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more reeds. There might be something hidden inside the sand, though. Something bad. Someone's night thoughts. A last resort. A bad idea.
I'll bet. Search through the sand and sawdust.
You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust. And then, something hard wrapped in paper.
What is it?
A small cylindrical object. You pull it out. A bullet.
Oh, okay.
A 9mm bullet, to be exact. Fit for all muzzle loaders of that caliber.
This bullet isn't for a breech loader like the murder weapon?
The floorboard isn't interested. Maybe the washerwoman is. You have enough to confront her with.
Indeed.
Holding the bullet, you get the feeling this isn't ammunition against you. It's for herself.
Very interesting. Okay. Looks like Shivers actually came in handy for once. Sweet.
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, such as it is, without the expression. It's just hairy.
Just Harry. Ha. What are... Ooh. Korajev jacket. +1 logic. Huh. Checkmate. This swanky checkered jacket flatters your form in a way that makes you feel the fun kind of serious. It has really nice roomy pockets too. The fun kind of serious, yeah. Yeah, I could use that, alright.
The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. Still, you've earned a rest.
No rest for the wicked. Alright then. Yo.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Oh, don't worry. I've got something else that'll keep me up at night. For instance, the question of why there was a bullet under the floorboards of your shack.
Damn that girl.
She murmurs softly. Indeed.
And without anger, a long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure.
A bullet?
The lieutenant turns to you and gives you a little nod, then turns to the washerwoman.
You didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Indeed.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either.
You rented the room to her?
Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl.
She speaks slowly, wringing out a rag after a long silence. Her hands move into the water bucket. Some water sloshes over the edge.
As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here.
When was this?
She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry.
Her wrinkled hand kneads a blue rag in the water.
What has she gotten herself into, that girl?
A great deal, Miss Washerwoman. A great deal.
She seems genuinely worried about her previous tenant. She's seen her hiding out from trouble before. But this seems different.
That's for the police to find out. Right then. Please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
Indeed. Finally, we're getting somewhere. You said she left on Monday. That's interesting. Isn't that the day that I awoke? But when on Monday? That's the question.
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think.
That's around when I woke up. Curious.
She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by, and it woke her up, just like it did you.
Maybe, Logic, maybe. Kim, she must have heard your Kanema.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. It lets the bad guys know when you are coming.
His voice is tinged with pride. You and your bloody car, Kim. Is the room exactly as she left it?
I cleaned it, like I always do.
Was there anything else there?
No,
The truth, sire.
Okay. What is she like, Ruby?
she's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
I'll bet.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time. Kept to herself.
What do you mean?
She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room.
Why do you think she left the bullet there?
How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
She looks back towards her shack, thinking, I don't know about that one. Considering, well...
You could ask her about your hunch, that it was a desperate measure. See if she thinks Ruby fits the bill.
I have a possible explanation in my mind.
Aye. Do tell.
A seagull flies overhead. Obviously a bad omen. Is it? It's an exit plan.
Exit from what?
This.
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman.
No,
She tilts her head to the side, looking up at you, deep in thought.
she's a fighter.
She really believes that.
I imagine she does. I imagine she does. I heard she was a heavy drinker with anger issues. You ever witnessed that kind of behavior?
Nothing of the sort. Sure, she was no stranger to the bottle. She fit in that way. But I only knew her to have a beer on the beach while watching the sunset.
The sun sets for everyone.
Does it?
She isn't what you'd call a drunk. Even offered me some from time to time. Said it was part of the communal life. But I never saw her lose control of herself the way some people do.
If I didn't know any better, I'd think that was a pointed jab at me. But anyway, where did she go?
I don't know. Further up the coast. She tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
It's a peninsula. She might be trapped.
Oh. That's interesting.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
I wouldn't worry about that, man. We are persistent.
Indeed. And she'll have nowhere to run. Well, further up the coast we go then.
Are you sure you'd rather stay here? Get a nice cozy fire going in the heater?
Yes.
Seems like a better idea to me.
She drops the rag into the bucket. It's clean now. Yes, actually, I am.
No, you can do it. You still have plenty of juice in you before you drop.
Hell yeah.
Behind the cinder block houses, old pre-war ruins rise to the sky like dark palaces. The wind calls.
Alright then.
One thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her.
She looks around. The air is getting colder. I will go exactly as hard or easy on her as the situation warrants, washerwoman. You can count on that.
She really means it. It's an honest plea.
I'm sure it is.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
Yes, I've heard that said 1,000 times. Alright then. Up the coast it is then. Hard to see the details. The colors, all warm and welcoming, are cozy though. Oh! Another level up. Sweet. Outro where nothing really grows. Maybe in spring. Come on. Grab it. Grab it. Grab it. Grab it. You idiot. There we go. Book. A primer for small kids. Oh, that could be useful. A textbook for the first grade in primary school. On the cover, a humanoid teddy bear is pushing a wheelbarrow full of letters. He's not doing a good job. The letter S is dangerously dangling from the cart, while E fell off a long time ago. Children should pay more attention. Oh. Let's see. Oh. A little black swallow circles above you. You hear it chirp. Where am I? Oh. Hello. Up. The water runs from the west. The source is upstream. A broken pipe? Mayhap? Beams are splintered. The bridge didn't collapse on its own. Artillery broke it. Artillery? We're surprised it's still around, then. If it's been broken for that long. How do I... Oh, wow. This is quite a circuitous path. No boat in the boathouse today. This section of the coast hasn't been used in decades. Again, surprised any of it's still intact at all. Ooh, magnesium and oversized superstar glasses. Plus one French nonsense, minus one visual calculus. Huh. Is your own stardom too dazzling for your eyes? Can't bear to look at your own fabulous reflection in the mirror? Then these classic oversized sunglasses are for you. Okay. Oh, didn't mean to actually put them on. Don't sound particularly useful, but okay. The boathouse is shoddily constructed. A strong breeze might blow it over. Ooh, money. Nice. Ancient paint is peeling off the roof of this shaded bench, covered in rust.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Look, Kim, even more bullet holes. Something's definitely gone down here.
Correct. The density of the bullet holes is unusual. Even in a general average bullet hole frequency in Martinez sense. Grim affairs.
The lieutenant examines the wall closely. Indeed.
Meaning, this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire. Something you don't see these days.
He brushes the wall with his hand. Why not?
The manufacturing and sale of automatic rifles was curtailed after the revolution. The destructive power of such tools proved to be too much. We do need to retain some humanity in this world.
I'll bet. Why this many bullet holes? Wow. Heroic 15. I've got 72% chance of acing it. Not bad. Okay.
A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet. No sound, no movement.
Well, that's certainly grim. But on the positive side, I got exactly the requirement. Sweet. You'll love to see it.
10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner, automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side.
You could be married, you don't know.
Snowflakes fall on the wooden planks and the surrounding sand dunes, covering the land with the white of innocence. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains.
is this? Guess.
The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed.
Actually, every soldier has a loaded rifle. Because if the rifle wasn't loaded, then when you fire it, it would obviously feel different than actually firing a live round. So they use a sort of dummy round, specifically designed to make it recoil similarly to an actual round. But anyway, that's relatively irrelevant. Look at the people against the wall.
A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes.
Well, it's possible that they just missed a lot, but yeah.
They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Ordinary people, familiar, each and every one of them.
Aren't we all? Who were they?
Collateral damage on the path toward normalcy and progress. Such is your belief, officer.
Aren't we all?
Maybe you should change it. They were praying, screaming.
Maybe.
7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one? Men of duty, dark duty.
Aren't we all? Who were they?
In all truth, violence offers no answer. It's only the last available resort when all mediation fails. And here, all did fail.
The supreme authority from which all other authority is derived, eh? You know, it's funny how many methods people have developed over the years of supposedly humane methods of execution. From the guillotine to the lethal injection. But for all that people will claim otherwise, none of these methods are for the benefit of the person being executed. The person being executed is going to die in a minute anyway. No, it's for the benefit of the executioners and the people and the populace as a whole, so they can feel better about themselves, about humane methods of execution, as though killing a person could ever possibly be a humane thing. Me, personally, I think we should drop the pretense. I think we should go back to the more barbaric methods of yesteryear, public hangings and that sort of thing. Because if we are going to have this system where we are going to be killing these people, why should we do them the indignity of prettying it up and making it seem all nice and hiding it away from the populace? No. Such is a degenerate parody of empathy. Let it be bared before us all. Why not? Anyway.
The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air. The lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face.
Kim, who was who in this execution? At first, the lieutenant doesn't say a word. He just stares at the wall.
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution.
Yeah, it could have.
Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces.
Or it could have just been random bozos killed by other random bozos.
It could even have been the employees of the failed R&D center down the coast, as their building was taken over by the revolutionaries.
Or maybe
You mentioned coalition forces. Could it have been them against the wall?
Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall.
Is that right?
To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was the commandant, the superior giving the orders.
I'll bet. Goodbye.
a cold sea wind blows away the figures. Behind this building, the other one, once filled with engineers and designers of Feld Electric, now collapsed and dead, but for some rats. You feel drawn, for some reason, to the faded mural again.
The anti-centennial revolution. Everyone lost. The sign says French nonsense. An old ticket taker booth, no longer in operation. People paid money to park here? No one would pay now. Who knows? Well, at least I can rob the place. Oh. The door is not only barred shut, it is inaccessible. Okay. Phone Peepo. Okay, +2 logic, -1 perception. I do have a lot of perception. What even is this? Ultimate peak focus, eyes on the road. The small wire framing inside this futuristic-looking Phone Peepo hat, oh, it's a hat, gives it the aerodynamic shape of a swoop skier's helmet, but none of its protective qualities. Covers the wearer's ears and eyebrows to bring down the drag coefficient. Okay. Interesting. What's my logic at? 4? Okay. Nice. I lose the encyclopedia and a bit of perception. Maybe later. A door. A building. A hiding place. Could the instigator be inside? Maybe. I don't know. Not like I can get in, apparently. Okay. Oh, then. Is this the Feld building that was mentioned? Oh, hello. Nice to meet you. Who could you be? Ooh, first. Bars cover these long, dusty windows. Oh, hang on. Necessity-driven architectural design at its finest. Hi. A sharp-dressed man bringing his kid out here. That's not something I expected to encounter. Hello.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blond man stands next to his son, presumably, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles. Oh, I apparently know this guy's name, so I guess I would know that was his son. Hello. Wait, is this?
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Khan Hailostam. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Hypertext. It's like text, but hyper. I assume you don't mean it in the sense of, well, the obvious.
Nice to meet you.
The lieutenant nods. Hold on. Hypertext?
Yes, hypertext. Young Carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
He says, as if it's self-evident. Okay. Wait, what was that Wait, what was that about the windows before?
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
Yeah, vector monitors. They were used for computers up through the 1970s or so. It's a type of CRT device. Basically, the image would be composed not of pixels, but of drawn lines. And the electron beam would trace the connected lines in an arbitrary path. They've got some advantages. For instance, they don't suffer from certain kinds of display artifacts such as pixelation and aliasing, but they can only really display a shape's outline. But anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. You and Kim know each other.
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hand on the boy's shoulder. The child stays hidden behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching to his themed coloring book.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into Worms lately.
Yes, the days of having to spend 12 hours configuring your computer just to get it to actually run some foreign game. Good times.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
He points to the building again. Is it now? I don't know if that's impressive or sad.
This man is your half-brother.
He
You
is?
feel it. But why?
What do you mean, why?
Well, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
Okay. What's so fascinating about an empty old building?
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building.
He raises his hand to his eyes to shield himself from the freezing snow. All four of you turn to admire the mural before you. The weather sure can change quickly around here.
What not a lot of people know is this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Ah, yes, many such cases. You know that old company, Texas Instruments, which is mostly known for its calculators, but is mainly selling semiconductors and such? There was an alternate timeline where they became a top dog in the PC gaming market. Their TI Mobius was fucking decades ahead of its time, with the hex bus system being a alternative to the USBs, which would have came out decades later. Plus well, never mind. That timeline is long gone.
Hold on. What's R&D?
Wait, what's an R&D department?
Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore.
He smiles brightly, laugh lines around his eyes. Ugh, acronyms. Hate 'em.
You're probably more familiar with RTD, Research and Technological Development.
Okay. RTD, R&D. I guess they roll off the tongue about the same.
Mea culpa. You are not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead.
Look at the building looming over you.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
I don't think I've ever heard of this Feld Electrical.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains.
He adjusts his suit jacket. Many such cases.
They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era.
Good for them.
Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve. I'm mixing my metaphors here.
He certainly seems to be enjoying himself. Good for him. What was that ace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer.
A tape computer?
An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer.
Hot damn.
Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He grins, admiring the sentence he just produced. Is that right? They were the Nikola Tesla of their time, eh?
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
What happened?
Indeed. What?
That's what I'm asking you.
The revolution!
The boy wipes his nose on his sleeve. Of course. The revolution just had to fuck everything up.
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins.
He pauses, pointing to the other building, then continues.
All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
Yeah, that sure sounds like the Gung phase, alright. Had this great thing going, and then they just got it all fucking stolen from them in the blink of an eye because of some fucking Gung Fei with a chip on their shoulder. Oh well. You're saying that Feld Electrical built this boardwalk?
Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel? I'm assuming that's not what it sounds like.
A pleasure wheel?
The lieutenant looks wistfully at the horizon, as if picturing gondolas rising to the sky. Yeah, they're talking about like a... That's their term for like a Ferris wheel type thing. Makes sense.
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel lighting up the coast.
Who wouldn't?
Yes.
The communists, I
To
guess.
lure in their star engineers. This part of
Lure
Martinez
in.
was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans.
History doesn't have plans, but yeah. It makes sense. Do you want to be luring people over here, making it an attractive place to live, especially for people with kids? Although, you don't have to be a child to enjoy a pleasure wheel, I suppose. This Feld Electric, they sure seem like some swooed guys. What happened to the engineers, the company people? Were they the ones against the wall?
Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
He smiles again, as if he's somehow personally responsible for this bleak turn of events. Maybe he is.
Wait, is he saying that we should just bypass the excesses of the revolution?
Turn to Mikhail. He means they all died at the hands of the communists. You know what? Sure. Why not? You're never too young to hear about the degeneracy of the Gong Fei.
Officer, I told you this chapter of history wasn't on Mikhail's curriculum yet. Let's keep this kid friendly.
He sounds disappointed.
The boy looks first at you, then back at his father, confused.
What did the revolutionaries do with those advanced tape computers?
They used them for military communications.
Of course. He says, while his son looks up, idly chewing on the corner of his Verm-themed coloring book.
But also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars.
Naturally. They took something that could have been used to enrich the lives of the average bozo, and they destroyed it so that they could get a new tool for war and propaganda. Typical. What was that?
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
Yeah. Short-lived utopia. Right.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bon Baiser dans ce Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree.
Maybe I will.
I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
He looks at his son, who starts giggling, his face hidden behind the book. I mean, can you blame him? Worms are much more fun than the Gong Fei.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
How did those tape computers work? Did they work like radio computers?
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
He raises his finger, remembering something.
Buckle up.
Oh no.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Wompty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje.
The what?
It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Jews joined the team, trying to...
Humpty Dumpty Dum Center. Wait, that's the name of that thought, isn't it? That one that I promised you that I'd get for the last open thought space. Huh. I still think that's a weird fucking name.
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center?
He did. I don't think we noticed that for the same reason, reaction speed, but he did.
He did it. He said Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world.
Indeed he did.
What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Juiced?
All good questions. Okay, the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center, Paul Ackerman, Keith and Guy Juiced. What are you talking about?
The Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Art. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ackerman, chose to...
Come on. There is no place called the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center of Arts.
Actually, I think there is. No, it's too much. He's joking.
Yeah, see, even Kim thinks you're taking the piss. Come on.
In fact, I'm not. The Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center.
Sure. Okay. Whatever you say, Trant.
But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even.
Don't
One
I
could
know it.
write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing.
Indeed.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
I've seen cooler things than that. The RCM should get some of those.
Even one would be very useful. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to the precious device. But so they did. The Feld playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07.
Bastards. Wait, the Feld playback experiment?
Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the Feld Playback Experience, but those are incorrect.
Good to know. Why did the revolutionaries destroy it?
Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait one goddamn second. So that's what the fucking Feld playback thing on these fucking menus means. That's why all these things look so weird. These are the... black film and folding tape structure. That's all of these dialogue things and the menus and everything. This is all being run on a Feld playback experiment or experience or whatever. What in the goddamn? I can't even begin to guess what the fuck that implies. Goddamn. Well, we have the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center thought now. It's Wednesday evening and something heinously exciting is underway. People have gathered beneath the billowing roof of an oddly shaped trophy building, sipping wine and exchanging opinions. 29-year-old Wonder Twins Guy and Keith Juiced are the stars of the show, with their bomber jackets and white sneakers, head curators of this art exhibition. It's the Wumpty Dumpty Domdiest event of the year, and all the cool kids have RSVP'd. Where are you if you're not there? Here. Anyway, the final one, I assume. Unless I'm gonna find out that it isn't. Alright. Just shy of 3/4 of an hour, and I'll have the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center thought. Minus one suggestion. Oh well.
But of course, what else?
You look like someone who has money. Do you have any money?
I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important here.
He brushes it off. He brushes it off like it's not a thing at all.
He's not gonna give you money. What are you doing? Clearly you were just profiling. No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
I mean, I don't exactly need it. Could I have some of that unimportant money then? Like, I don't want to see it. I don't want your money. I just wanted to see whether my profiling skills were working. Yeah.
Of course, Detective. I wouldn't have assumed anything else. Matter of fact,
He looks up again, a playful hint shining in his eyes.
I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the Vespertine Department of Justice has published a rather interesting paper on the criminal profiling in former socialist states. Have you read it?
Possibly.
If not, then you definitely should. If not for tips and tricks, then just for theoretical curiosity. Anyway, that's just a little something that sprang to mind. You were saying?
He squeezes his son's shoulder lightly. Why did that last sentence sound like it was recorded somewhere completely different?
Forget it. They don't sell those kind of books at crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
I'm looking for a suspect. Have you seen anyone suspicious around?
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here.
He pats his son's head.
So you haven't seen anyone around?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
There's something friendly and familiar in how he says that. A day off. He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone.
Okay. Great. Thank you for all the interesting information. Even if some of it may very well have been nonsense.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
Pick your brain. If anything, this was rather one-sided. He did the talking. Whatever.
Well. Oh well. Another power box. It charges nothing now. It's empty. There's a metaphor there. But a metaphor what? The fence blocks the path. No way on from here. Ooh, money. Perfect. Nice. Alright. Well, I didn't get any money from that guy, but I did get a fair bit of cash. And finally, the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center dot. Whatever the fuck that's about. I don't know if it's actually going to be at all useful. But it's got a weird fucking name, so of course I had to grab it. But this has gone on long enough. So, until next time, I have been Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And remember, dislike the video, unsubscribe if you're for some reason subscribed, and leave a nasty comment in the comment section down below. Fuck you all so much for watching, and so long, suckers.
Okay, kid.